I'm Donnie with El Gallo Fly Fishing Lodge, and I am here with Mr. Steve, a recent client that visited us in our March Yellowtail Madness trip, and was wanting to pick your brain about the trip a little bit. I'm wondering if you might want to share your experience with others.
Sure. Well, we've been back in civilization here for about a week, and it's interesting. I've been on plenty of different kinds of trips over the years, and sometimes you can kind of get almost blasé about it after you get back. You kind of just jump back into real life, and you don't really kind of think about it all that much until you move on to the next trip. And I found myself thinking about this one a little bit more. It was a real unique experience. Mexico for many people has this, dangerous image, or less than satisfactory kind of conditions sometimes. Between theft or violence or bad food or food poisoning. You can get out to Mexico and terrible things can happen. I've really not spent a whole lot of time in Mexico, aside from a couple of business trips to cities. So this was the first time for me to kind of go to, what I'll call the real Mexico. We stayed in a little tiny fishing village up on a hillside, beautiful accommodations and a private home. We were well cared for by the home takers, the caretakers there, who came every night and cooked for us, and the meals were fabulous. The fishing was great. We were out virtually every day on the boats with knowledgeable captains who very authentic locals, who stayed out of our way for the most part. Didn't gave us tips when we wanted tips, and let us kind of work on our own. Both my son and I were not very knowledgeable about fly fishing, so we got some tips about how to be more successful, but they also kind of let us kind of struggle on our own to some degree as well, which was good. Spent some time in some of the small little towns, real small little towns, and basically had a real, what I felt was a real authentic time. I think when I mentioned to Donnie during the trip, I was like, if it's something that you're looking at to kind of get Four Seasons type of comfort, this might not be the trip for you. But it was very, I felt like we experienced Mexico, and we experienced great fly fishing in Mexico as well as part of the trip.
Yeah, well, thank you for saying that. As you'd mentioned, things there don't go in a laminar fashion very easily, right? And we've had trips go very, very well with very few things that have gone wrong. It seemed like with this trip, it was a management problem. Like, if it could go wrong, it did go wrong. But having said that, did you see any of the inner workings of the stuff that actually did go wrong? So, like, we had car problems, we had people problems, we had facilities problems, we had all of these different things. Could you kind of see how many hoops that I actually jumped through to make this thing kick off well?
Not see so much as probably guess, more so than anything else. So, if you're a client, you're coming down on vacation, you want to land at the airport, you want to have the transportation arranged for you to get to the location. You were standing right outside the door waiting to pick us up. We drove to the location. The location actually changed from what you originally thought it was going to be, but from our standpoint, we couldn't tell the difference. We ended up in a beautiful place. The fishing happened on virtually a daily basis. We had a day where we couldn't get out because it was too windy, and shame on you for not being able to control the wind.
Yeah.
I think the person who normally takes care of the house wasn't there for the week because he had a commitment in other places, and we wouldn't have known one way or the other if you hadn't have told us, because the folks that took care of us took great care of us. So, the car having a few problems, we were driving in it when the brakes appeared to go out, but we're all here in one piece. And as I said, if you needed to be driven around in a Mercedes-Benz and air conditioning, maybe this isn't the trip for you, but for us, it was fine. So I would say you agonized about the problems far more than I did, for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. It's what the goal is to try to make it like a duck on the water. Above the surface, it looks like everything's calm, but those little feet are going crazy underneath the water surface. But
I would say that was definitely our experience.
Very cool. So location was good, food was good, fishing was, would you say good or great?
Again, I'm a neophyte on the fly fishing side. The captains managed to basically put me over the fish, so they basically jumped into the boat for me. Not quite that bad, but we were in good fishing grounds, and there were plenty of times we had fish on the line, and most of the time we put them in the boat. So the fishing was great from our standpoint. We caught a wide variety of fish. We were put in spots where those fish were going to be, and the roosterfish, which is kind of what everybody kind of goes down to catch. We were told before we went down there that it wasn't really the time of year to catch the big ones, but I think my son probably caught 4 or 5 of the smaller roosterfish, so we got to experience that as well. So the fishing was great.
Yeah, he really took on to this. Like, that's the first time he's ever touched a fly rod before. He did exceptionally well, I thought.
Yeah, don't tell him that. Cut that part of this out.
Did he tell you about the trip to Cabo after you guys left?
Not really, no.
There's some stories there. You should dig into that. That's good stuff. It will,
maybe I should do it, but some things are better left not known.
I'll show you a picture real quick and let you decide for yourself whether this is a good thing or not. Okay, so there's let's see if I can pull it in there. Can you see that?
Yeah, you guys are sitting down on stools drinking something.
Yeah, so those are that's a Starbucks, but they have these places that you can go in Cabo, and they've got these flesh-eating fish, and you put your feet in this tank, and these fish start attacking your feet, and they eat all the dead skin off of it. One of the most weirdest feelings I've ever had in my life. But we had to do it. We had to check it out. So I'll send you a video of it. It's actually quite funny.
It's nothing if not adventuresome. So
for sure. So yeah,
right.
But Baja is just what Baja is. Was there any point that you felt like you were unsafe at all?
Not a once.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit. And as I said, you can have that reputation, and especially for somebody like me or Sam, my son, who neither one of us really had spent any time in Mexico. You don't really necessarily know what you're getting into, and we were it was very relaxed, not unsafe at all.
That's kind of I think that's the thing that Baja gets a bad rap for, being Mexico, but I mean the people there are beautiful, and it still in a lot of aspects is Mexico, and you definitely have to be careful in some situations, but if you stay clean of those, it's mostly just really good people that live there.
Yes.
Yep. Well, I feel very fortunate having met you and fish with you and actually catch you. You're the first human being I've ever caught on a fly rod. So,
and I'm still doing this with you. I'm still having this conversation with you. So
yeah.
I look, one of the true tests is, Sam and I think on the last day kind of looked at each other and we said, well, will we do this again? And he goes, yeah, heck yeah, I would do it again. And I said, I told you as I was leaving, I didn't really want to leave. I would have been more than happy to spend another week or two there. So
yeah, you still did a couple of different times.
That's pretty good test or testament in terms of whether it was a good trip or not.
Yeah, well, for sure. If I could have made it happen, I would have. I'd have still been fishing right now if I could, but unfortunately, other aspects of life, kids, wife, all that stuff. But,
right.
Yeah. But I look forward to having you down again, and hopefully next time it will be during rooster season, and you can see what that spectacle is all about. If you could imagine like all of those yellowtail coming up and smashing the top like that, imagine that as like 50, 60, 70 pound rooster fish.
Right. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
It's amazing. It really is very amazing. But anyway, man, again, I appreciate you taking the time to kind of spout off some nice things about us. But
most stuff that I could make up, I'll go back to telling the truth after this.
Anything that we could do better?
Not really.
Be truthful, yeah.
I think it was fine. I think it was fine.
Well, I can see that you've got other stuff going on, so I'll let you go. And I appreciate the kind words.
All right, Johnny. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, man. We'll see you.
Take care.
You
Bye-bye.
too.